Pokemon X is one of my favorite Pokemon titles of all time. When the game was first announced by Nintendo, I was really excited simply because it would be the first 3D Pokemon game in the main series. It was revolutionary and a huge jump from the 2D world. It'd be something different. It was my first game on the 3DS as well. My copy of Pokemon X was a birthday gift alongside my purple 3DS. I remember going ham on Wonder Trade and inadvertently receiving a slightly overpowered Pokemon early in the game that would later become one of my most prolific team members. I no longer have him, unfortunately. I've somehow lost him, but it was a Glaceon. This game holds a lot of special memories for me, but my best memories was shiny hunting in this game. This was the first Pokemon game which introduced higher shiny odds, where it was previously a brutal 1 in 8,192 chance of finding a shiny. This is halved from the Generation 6 games onwards to 1 in 4,096. I spent countless hours shiny hunting in this game through hordes, friend safari encounters, and my personal favorite, chain fishing. I had a trusty NK on my team at all times. With its Suction Cups ability, it would increase my chances of getting a bite on the line and making the process of chain fishing so much smoother. Gen 6 was also when I got heavily into trading shiny Pokemon with online people. I did most of my trading through a gaming forum called NeoSeeker. I still log back in from time to time just to catch up with my friends and see how the forum's doing. But back when I joined the site in 2014, the shiny trading community was quite big. The ultimate shiny prized possessions in the trading community were majorly competitive shiny Pokemon obtained through egg hatching. These are level 1 Pokemon with at least 4 IVs to 6 IVs, and they have special egg moves that can only be obtained exclusively through hatching. Breeding competitive Pokemon is already a very lengthy and complex process in itself, which is why shiny competitive Pokemon are coveted. Not only are they a great asset in online competitive battles, but a strong team member that is also shiny is definitely something to toot your horn about. But I wasn't really into competitive Pokemon. I was already satisfied with a different colored Pokemon and was happy to play through the game with my own unique team of shinies, competitive or not. Some Pokemon you will see in my collection are also in special apricorn balls. I had an affinity towards the heavy ball, by the way. I love the design and color choice of this, so you will see some of that in my collection later. Before I jump into ranking, let me show you what I have on each tier. It's self-explanatory if you've watched these kind of videos before, but at the very top, I've got Gold Star, which can mean they are my favorite shinies or I simply adore the color combo. The second tier involves very cool shiny color combos that I really appreciate but wouldn't say is my absolute favorite. Third tier is good, or I suppose you can read it as good cookie too, because yeah, it's simply a nice shiny that I think is good enough to deserve a cookie. It's okay, it at least has a noticeable color difference to its original variant, but nothing too wow-worthy for me. Still deserves a small treat though. And finally, could be better means it's a bit disappointing because I feel with Pokemon, an undistinguishable shiny to me is such a missed opportunity. I feel there's always going to be potential to make a Pokemon's shiny variant interesting and exciting, so I added a little magic wand to wish it meets someone who can genuinely appreciate its shiny for what it is. It's just unfortunate that that person won't be me. I hope my opinions and comments throughout this video won't offend anyone because this is purely my own opinion and I feel we all have different perspectives on what colors and combinations are appealing to us. Okay, let's open my save file and rank these Pokemon, shall we? I'll go ahead and open up the box and we will do a quick overview of what I got. I have 4 boxes of shinies to go through. So the first 2 boxes look like they are mostly level 1 Pokemon. Then we transition to ones I obtained via trades, and these rows of Pokemon are mostly obtained by me. So the first Pokemon we have is Scatterbug. Scatterbug's shiny is kinda neat. It's pretty much the inverse colors of its original counterpart. I like that it is distinct enough that you know it's a shiny when you see it in the wild, but other than that, it's nothing too special to me. Still, it's a good shiny, so it deserves a cookie. Larvitar is just okay for me. I've never really been a fan of the shiny Larvitar line except for Pupitar. Pupitar shiny looks pretty cool, but yeah, Larvitar doesn't really stand out to me. Yes, it's very distinct, and honestly, I do like the improvement it has in the newer games. The olive is darker and purple is deeper and more saturated, but it's not that wow-worthy to me. Sorry, this might be a bit of a hot take, but honestly, I do not feel pulled towards this shiny. Oh, Red Aron is so sick. It's like a little badass with the blood red eyes, but not so bloody that it comes off as intimidating or gory. It's still an elegant red color and the overall look of it is still very nice. Going to the very cool category. I like Shiny Eevee, although I feel Shiny Eevee is generally well loved by the Shiny community. The color combo works very well with its simplistic design. The silver and white blend together very well, it's easy on the eyes, and yeah, it fits with its normal typing very well. My take of this is that the fact it evolves into a myriad of different forms implies that Eevee starts off as a blank canvas, and depending on your preference, it has a rainbow option of different types you can choose for it to evolve to. It's just an analysis, but yeah, I like the potential idea of it. Eevee is a very cool shiny to me. Despite Zubat being an extremely common shiny, especially as a phase shiny, I think Zubat's shiny colors look really nice. I like the darker tone of green against the bright pink wings. It's a very unique color combo and one I would not expect to see on a Zubat. I do intend on finding one in the older games, seeing as I love the shiny color so much. Shiny Zubat is very cool to me. I do like a good yellow gold shiny, and Shiny Temple is no exception. I love when Pokemon take shiny inspirations from real life biology. That's always so cool to me. The yellow and black combo is a classic, making Temple shiny stand out but not too loudly. I really appreciate its shiny, and I do think it fits the very cool tier. Oh, Shiny Pichu is pretty disappointing, unfortunately. It's just its original variant, but a lot more saturated. I wish they gave the shiny its Psycho Soda Plush colors with the dark blue tinted ears and pale color palettes. Would fit its baby Pokemon status more with the lighter pastel colors. Pichu goes to the could be better tier. I'm sure someone will give it the love it deserves. I love Binacle's shiny colors. The change is very noticeable compared to its counterpart, and I really like the watermelon color combo of green and pink. I like its ties to nature as a barnacle, so the different green tints are very fitting, and the pink give its puffed cheeks some color, like it's ready to blow up from anger like Tinkerbell. So adorable. I love the color choices. Very cool shiny. I know people say Shiny Bulbasaur is a downgrade from the older gens since it's not as bold as it used to be, and I do agree, but I still like how it looks here. I've always liked the all-green combo. The different shades of green go very well together. It's gentle and nice to look at, and in Gen 6 I'm glad that it's still distinct enough to its non-shiny version, so it's pretty good. Snorunt is such a pleasant shiny to look at. The icy blue obviously matches its ice typing. It goes very well with the yellow outline around its face. It's kinda subtle, but shiny Snorunt has red eyes instead of yellow. If Snorunt was a prey Pokemon, then I'm sure shiny Snorunt would have no trouble camouflaging the snow to hide from predators. Snorunt deserves to be in the very cool tier. I dig its concept. Ooh, we have our first favorite in the list, and that is Shiny Swattle. This color combo is literally so perfect. It's one of my ultimate dreams to find Shiny Swattle in Gen 5 because that's just how much I love its shiny colors. I love its darker leaf apparel and the lime green face poking out. They go so well with its reddish orange details. Honestly, this is Chef's Kiss, or rather Gold Star tier to me. It's such a gorgeous shiny. I think Shiny Minccino is a good shiny. I don't pay much attention to its shiny because Shiny Chinchino looks pretty awful, but with Shiny Minccino I can still appreciate the colors. I like the soft baby pink against its white tinted ears and tail, which fits its pre-evo stage as a baby chinchilla. I like the light cyber green ears as well, which gives it a unique shiny look. Overall a good shiny. I just wish Chinchino had the same treatment. It's a shame when the weaker pre-evo has a better shiny. Shiny Weedle looks quite good to me. It's a shame its colors are slightly paler in the newer gens, whereas in the older gen, its gold really struck out. Still, it's a decent shiny overall. The light yellow goes well with its pink features that stay the same as its original. Shiny Weedle's going into the good tier. Chatot's shiny is very pretty. It almost looks like it's wearing a rich burgundy tux, which is so fitting to Chatot's parrot characteristics as a performer. It keeps true to the colorful boldness that parrots are known for, and so yeah, I think the colors symbolize that very well. It's a cool shiny. Cranidos' shiny is great. It's very reminiscent of Aron's in that the red implies it's a dangerous, bloodthirsty Pokemon, but the red is still a nice pinkish red like cranberries, so it does not come across as discomforting or aggressive. It's just the right amount and it's a cool, badass shiny. I really dig this. Sunkern is another disappointing one for me. I feel like in the older gens, shiny Sunkern is a lot more noticeable because of its darker shades of brown and yellow, but in the newer games where there seems to be a pattern of making shinies lighter than its original, it doesn't bode very well for shiny Sunkern. I like to think though that shiny Sunkern is just a sunburnt version of its original. I wish they kept the intensity of its shiny from the older games. Dano is definitely one of my favorite shinies. I love the green, black, and purple combination, and I also really like that the Dano line stays consistent with its shiny colors. The purple speckles give shiny Dano a very nice flair. Yeah, I think the shiny colors work so well together. To me, it's the right dark shade of green, and having it against the black makes this so easy on the eyes. This is definitely gold star quality to me. I think shiny Bagon is adorable. I do wonder what their rationale is behind choosing this specific shade of green, but I like it nonetheless. It's very distinct and not overly striking. I might be kind of biased though, because I love the color green in general, so this is a good shiny to me. I'm having a hard time deciding what to rate shiny Carablast. At first glance, I think its shiny is pretty sweet. The shiny colors are fitting to its bug type. It's a very reasonable combo considering Carablast is based off of a beetle, and green beetles exist. It's weird to say, but I think because it's so fitting, it doesn't really stand out. Sometimes when I think of Carablast, I tend to get the original and shiny colors mixed up. Yeah, feel free to roast me if this is irrational, because I am aware it's not very fair, but it just doesn't stand out for me personally, but still a good shiny that I can appreciate. I honestly always get shiny and non-shiny Centra confused. In the Fire Red Leaf Green games, its body color is so similar, and so I've always associated Centra with having a light body color by default, and so the only way I would easily tell them apart is through its tail, and in this generation its tail is kinda hidden, so this isn't the most noticeable shiny for me personally, and also not my favorite. Sorry Central lovers. Sneasel's shiny looks so sick. You might hear this time and time again in this video, but I'm actually not a huge pink shiny fan. But because there's so much going with shiny Sneasel, with its golden feathers, the blue orb on its forehead, and its yellow eyes, I can't help but appreciate this shiny so much, and it's one I'd be so happy to find in the wild. The change is just so dramatic, and the color combo is so unique. It's easily well loved. Shiny Sneasel is going to the cool tier for me. Okay, Totodile. I think this might be a bit controversial, but I may have to say the shiny is just okay. It's mostly because of how it is presented in Gen 6. Like, the reason I'm a fan of the starter shiny line from past gens is because you can always see the blue plates on the front facing Sprite, but here you can't. I feel you can really only appreciate the shiny if you send it out to battle and be able to look at its blue plates from the back. It's such a disappointing design choice to not have the plates noticed on its Sprite, because that's what makes it stand out as a great shiny in my opinion. Yeah, this really hurts, but hey, it still gets candy for being slightly teal. Spheal is such an adorable shiny. I think the pink looks really nice, and this shade of pink especially makes sense for an ice type. I'm personally not too big on pink shinies, but Spheal does stand out, and you can't miss it if you see one in the wild. It's going into the good tier. I love Execute's shiny so much. I mean, golden eggs? That's such a clever concept. I'm so glad they went with this. Isn't it canon that shiny Execute is a sign of wealth? Because in Pokemon Sun and Moon, you can battle a wealthy trainer in a Pokemon Center who has a shiny Execute, and I just find that so funny. It's an appropriate color choice for me. I feel Pokemon could have gone with white or black to make it look like regular eggs or quail eggs. I guess there's a lot they could have played with, but I'm glad they went with gold because I love this shiny so much. So gold star for me. Oh, poor Abra. I love Abra in general, but its shiny would be at the bottom of the list for me. It's not very distinguishable, and I'm not a fan of shinies where it's just a lighter tone of its counterpart. It's a shame because Kadabra and Alakazam go through drastic changes, so I really wish they did that with Abra. Tentacool is one of my favorite shinies. Actually, the Tentacool line is one of my favorites of all time. I had a shiny Tentacool in my party, but I've somehow lost him. I remember naming him Templar because I love Assassin's Creed and I thought it was fitting. Anyway, it's no exception shiny Tentacool is super eye candy to me. I absolutely love the purple and green together. It's one of my dream shinies to find in the older games, especially in Ruby, because I love to have it in my shiny dream team. Here's to hoping, but shiny Tentacool is going into the gold star tier. Shiny Misdreavus doesn't look too bad to me. I feel Shiny Misdreavus gets quite a bit of hate and tends to be labeled a vomit shiny, but I still think it's a good shiny. I love the dramatic change it gets, and I like how the olive and orange go together, so yeah, it's still going to the good tier for me. Ooh, Cryogonal. I'm honestly having a pretty hard time deciding if this is good or just okay. I really like the orange replacing its blue eyes and Chain of Ice. It's got a cool fire and ice combo going, which is very unique. It's also like as if a light has been switched on in Cryogonal, giving off a warm hue inside its cold chamber. On the other hand, I wish they changed the color of its body to something more dramatic, like if you send it out on battle, sure, it looks fun on the front, but from the back, it looks like nothing has changed. Oh, I guess Cryogonal and Glalie kinda share that in common in terms of only having their eyes changed on its shiny variant. But yeah, maybe I'm leaning more to just okay. There's so much that Pokemon could have done with this. I'm gonna be honest, shiny Houndour looks uninspired to me. It's a distinct color change, but they really lighten the blue here to the point where Houndour looks almost ghostly and pale. I guess it's fitting to its dark, edgy design, but it feels kind of boring and forgettable here. Sorry, I feel that's a pretty hot take on shiny Houndour. It's still nice, but dang, I feel they kind of messed up with Houndour shiny in Gen 6. Sadly, it's just going to the it's okay tier. Kangaskhan's shiny is interesting. It's clearly distinct from its original colors, and I like the greyish tones, which go quite well with the olives as well as the cream colors. It fits its normal typing in my opinion, but other than that, there's not much to it. It's a little forgettable and doesn't stand out too much. So yeah, it's an okay shiny to me. Shiny Whismur is super adorable. I love the light green that replaces the yellow. It works nicely against its purple body and stands out very well. I'd be pretty stoked to find a shiny Whismur in the wild. It's going to the good tier. You know how I said earlier that I'm not the biggest fan of pink shinies? Well, Wooper is an exception because it's a very cool looking shiny to me, mainly because we know that Wooper is based off of an Axolotl and shiny Wooper is essentially the colors of a real life Axolotl. So I really dig that, and I love when Pokemon take inspiration directly from nature itself. Staryu is immediately gold star tier to me. I'm a huge fan of the Staryu line. Just look at its shiny colors. I think it's so beautiful. The silver and gold together with its blue orb. It's like a jewel of the sea with these colors and makes it all the more fitting as a starfish. I love shiny Staryu so much. One of the best shinies out there in my opinion. Shiny Rattata is a very cool shiny to me. While I'm a little sad that it's not as gold as it used to be, I still like the changes Pokemon made to its shiny colors in the newer games. I like the light green body with the light purple eyes and mouth. It's a nice pastel shiny that's pleasant to the eyes. If I find one in the wild, I'd definitely keep it as a Rattata. I really like Anorith's shiny. I'm honestly a sucker for vintagey colors like copper, brown, subdued gold, and the fact that the colors are obviously different to its original is amazing. Also good color choice since it's supposed to be an ancient fossil, so that checks out well. Yeah, Anorith has a very cool shiny. Timber's shiny is distinct enough that you'd be able to notice in the wild. I appreciate that its veins turn a slightly darker coral color. Other than that though, there's not much to it. I wish Pokemon changed the color of the log because that'd be pretty fun. I think this is going to be another hot take. While shiny Vulpix is very different to its original counterpart, I'm just not the biggest fan of its shiny combo. I'm not a fan of the orange and yellow with the olives. Granted, if I do find a shiny Vulpix in the wild, I'd be pretty happy, but only because I can immediately evolve it to Ninetales with a Firestone. I'm glad Ninetales didn't receive the same treatment, because shiny Vulpix is just okay for me. Bonsly has to be one of my favorite shinies ever. I dream of finding one in either Hard Gold or the original Gen 2 games and have it as a team member in my playthrough. I'm not sure what it is about it. Maybe it gives me Christmas vibes, like with the gold and magenta. It's a very elegant color combo, and the fact that it's on a pre-Evo baby Pokemon like Bonsly, honestly, more power to it. It's an excellent color choice, and yeah, I feel someone in the shiny department must be very biased towards Bonsly. Gorgeous. Gold star for me. Trico is easily one of my favorite shinies. This shade of bluish green goes so well with its red tail. They complement each other very well, making shiny Trico an absolute standout. It fits its grass typing as well as its design as a gecko. I love dramatic shiny colors that work well. I'm actually glad they gave Trico shiny a slightly darker tint in this game because it works so well and definitely worked in its favor. Shiny Yamask holds a special place in my heart. If you've seen my Shiny Dream Team quest for Pokemon Black, Shiny Yamask was one of my team members and I later evolved her into Cofagrigus. I like that not only is Shiny Yamask's mask a beautiful silver color, its eyes also change from red to yellow. I think they complement each other very well and I love the overall simplicity of Shiny Yamask. It's a very cool shiny. Shiny Ponyta is so lovely. At first glance, it's giving me Azula vibes because of the blue fire. Actually, with both Ponyta and Rapidash, I think they really nailed this. Nothing's cooler than blue and grey fire. Shiny Ponyta is definitely cool tier territory. Speaking of Azula, Spiritomb has an awesome shiny, one of the most striking shinies out there. It's so cool to see the purple turn into blue and green to purple. This color combo works so well and it's so fitting for a ghost spirit like Spiritomb. I really like this, so it's going to the very cool tier. As much as I love the color green, this combo doesn't really do it for me. Archon is very striking, but I just don't like how the lime green and light orange go together. It's one of those few Pokemon where I do prefer the original colors, so sadly Archon is just okay for me. Shiny Coughing is so sick. It fits its poison typing so well with the fumes turning purple and the body turning blue. Both colors go very well together. Really can't go wrong with Shiny Coughing. I feel they nailed this shiny. It's very cool to me. Shiny Munchlax has so much potential. I think if you really compare shiny and non-shiny Munchlax together, you can kinda see the difference. But without the comparison, if I were to find a random shiny Munchlax without paying attention to the game, I think I could easily miss this. Or at least I won't be confident enough to realize it's shiny. There's a lot of potential to be had here and definitely could have been better. Duckless Shiny is adorable, but I feel the colors are kinda, I don't know, immature? It's like if you give a child an uncolored Ducklet, this is the color they would give it. I feel like it's still fitting though because Ducklet is a pre-evo Swanna, so it's still a cute little baby, and this pink color I associate with innocence and playfulness. So while it's not a favorite of mine, it's still nice and distinct to its original colors and definitely something I can appreciate. Riolu's shiny is very cool. It works all around because it's neat and simple. It's very nice to look at. The change from its original is very dramatic and one that you definitely will not miss when you see it in the wild. It goes into the very cool shiny tier. Shiny Ralts is fine. While I like the blue and orange colors on its own, they do sort of clash, especially with Ralts' pink body. It feels kind of messy and odd, but it's still a standout shiny to me, and I'd be ecstatic to find it in the wild. It's a good tier shiny for me. Shiny Lapras looks really nice. How can anyone hate Shiny Lapras, honestly? It's so lovely and fitting to its beautiful design. Lapras is known to be a gentle-natured and intelligent Pokemon, one that is able to read people's minds. Purple is a good symbol of the spirituality and mystique, as it also sings, which is reminiscent of sirens. Such nice theories for a gorgeous Pokemon. This is a very cool shiny to me, no exception. Magnemite is one of my favorite shinies ever. I love the very light copper gold on its body and the black magnet. They both complement each other very well, and as a steel and electric type, I do love a gold and black combo. It does look kinda washed out compared to its older gen shiny sprites. Nonetheless, it's still a nice, simple combo that works very well and suits its design. Joltik has a very unique shiny. I feel the color changes on shiny Joltik makes it look distinct enough to its original counterpart. I like the choice of purple that replaces the blue. It stands out from its yellow neon body. It really is an electrifying shiny, actually. The colors are striking and obviously fits with its electric typing. I think the general consensus for Noibat is that it's a pretty cool shiny. This color of blue or teal is one you can't really go wrong with, I don't think, especially when it goes against dark colors like black and grey. It's like a cute goth shiny, almost, which fits because it's based off of a bat. Shiny Poochyena is so cool. I'm simply a sucker for yellow gold shinies, and I love how dramatic the change is from its original black and grey to this striking gold. It's very subtle, but the color around its eyes turn blue, which is a very nice touch. I really like Shiny Poochyena, so onto the very cool tier it goes. Shiny Absol is very cool. The red and white is a simple and clean color combo that reminds me of the Premier Ball, so it's really nice to look at. Also, the red is very fitting with its calamitous nature. It's striking and can be interpreted as impending doom or simply danger, so I really appreciate that. It does go great with the Mega Evolution as well, giving it that extra edginess. So yeah, I like the clever choices made on Shiny Absol. Shiny Aerodactyl I'm honestly not the biggest fan of. I feel it's kinda boring, and while it's still noticeably different to its original colors, it's pretty forgettable for me. In fact, sometimes I get the original and shiny variants mixed up. I like the lightning blue under its wings, but I wish they gave its body a more dramatic color change to its original. So yeah, it's just okay for me, sadly. Cottony is a very cool shiny to me. I love that it pretty much retains its original colors and applied them in different areas of its design. I like the orange leaves and the green eyes, they go very well together. I'm also quite a huge fan of orange shinies. I feel we don't really see that a lot on more distinct shinies. Yeah, Burmese shiny has to be on the lowest tier. Honestly, not much to say about this combo aside from the fact that the undramatic colors are actually fitting to what Burmese is actually capable of, which is not a lot, sadly. It's only able to learn this many moves, so yeah, it's a shame it didn't receive the Metapod or Kakuna treatment, but at least that will change when it evolves into Mothim. Rotom, or Motor in reverse. Its shiny is so sick. Very striking and a nice change to the original orange and blue. I love how much more saturated it looks as a shiny. The hot pink and orange fits its electric typing very well. I'd say even more so than the original colors actually, so Rotom deserves to be in the very cool tier. Shiny Natu is very disappointing to me. There's so many colors to play with considering it's a bird Pokemon with lots of colorful features, especially its feathers. They literally just brightened the colors of the original version, and yeah, it feels kinda uninspired unfortunately. The shiny could definitely have been better and I wish they paid more attention to it. Ah, dearling. I honestly feel a little guilty about what I said in my Pokemon Black video. I said I was not a huge fan of its shiny, so much so that I would skip any route that had dearling on it, so I don't risk finding a shiny version of it. I have given dearling more consideration since then, and I would put it in the it's okay category, just because I can see the reason why Pokemon would only change one part of it significantly, which is a flower on its head. As the seasons change, so will dearling's appearance, and while I think it'd be cool to give each seasonal form its own shiny variant, only changing the color of the flower on its head is a reasonable move on Pokemon's end, so that we can at least appreciate the different form it takes during each season. So as you know, I like gold and yellow color shinies, so Caterpie's colors look very good to me. It really stands out. I believe Caterpie is based off of the Spicebush Swallowtail caterpillar, and they are usually green or yellow in real life. I love when the design and color choices are inspired by real life, so that's cool, and I really appreciate the consideration they gave to Caterpie on this one. Shiny Gumi is adorable. I do wonder why they chose the yellow cream color for its shiny. I mean, it's nice, and I like that it blends nicely with the purple and coral. I also appreciate that it stays the same throughout its evolution line. But because the colors are so light and gentle, it doesn't really stand out too much for me. Still a good shiny though. Shiny Pidgey is just okay for me. It feels like an uninspired shiny. The colors are sort of drabby. It's kinda a shame. Pidgey's not a very popular Pokemon to begin with, so its shiny is really not helping. But at least it's noticeable, so we know we wouldn't miss it in the wild. Ferroseed is a sick shiny. It's very subtle, but the body does have a darker shade on its shiny version, which blends so well with the blue spikes. I don't have a shiny Ferrothorn in my collection, so I wanted to take this opportunity to say I am gobsmacked that Pokemon didn't give the same treatment to shiny Ferrothorn. I just don't understand why they went with the colors they did. Like, I don't mind the gold on shiny Ferrothorn, but why not apply the blue on its thorns? I feel like it would look so much better. But anyway, this is about Ferroseed, and it's a very cool shiny, so much so that I wish they kept it consistent in the evolution line. Spearow's shiny is kind of similar to Pidgey's, but the white on its chest make it look cleaner and stand out more. I do think it's a good shiny and very noticeable as well. I have to say it's slightly underrated, maybe because the Pidgey line does overshadow the Spearow line by a lot. Shiny Spearow is going to the good tier. Shiny Horsey looks very nice. The colors are so fitting for an underwater creature. I like that they went with turquoise since it's giving me ocean mermaid vibes. It's a pretty shiny, and the light shade of red on its belly nicely contrasts with the turquoise. I do wish the red belly is a shade darker so it looks more dramatic and change, but I still think the shiny looks pretty good. Okay, so unfortunately I don't have the same love for Sudowoodo as I do with Bonsly. It's still a nice shiny, but I'm just not the biggest fan of the color they chose for its body. It looks pretty drabby to me. All in all, I do like the sort of autumnal look it has going on, so Sudowoodo still belongs to the good category for me. I think Shiny Mareep is very cute. This shade of pink is a little dark, which goes nicely against the dark blue. It reminds me of cotton candy. It's so fitting for a sweet little sheep like Mareep. It's a memorable shiny to me and a great improvement to its normal colors, so it's very cool to me. Shiny Litleo is cute. It's very distinct in that it's literally just a brighter version of its original counterpart, but the color combos are super bland for me. It looks kind of washed out. Doesn't really stand out to me unfortunately, so it's just okay for me. Swablu's shiny is gorgeous. It's like something you'd see in a magical meadow. Even though the only change is in its body, the color choice is just so good and makes Swablu an absolute standout. It's going to the very cool tier. Shiny Tropius is very special to me. It's the first shiny I've ever encountered. I was in the route before Fort Tree City and just training my team in Pokemon Ruby, and I ran into a shiny Tropius. I did catch her, but long story short, I don't have her anymore, so I definitely want to do a reclaim. I like that the greens are lighter, which works well with its golden neck. I do wish they'd give it a more dramatic color change, but overall, shiny Tropius is a good shiny to me. Ooh, Klefki's shiny is so fun. There's so much to play with. I'm glad they gave its shiny this golden color. It's so fitting for a steel type to be a shiny metal, and the blue on its forehead and body complements the gold really well, giving it a unique, whimsical look, which fits its fairy typing. This is a very cool shiny to me. However, I wish they changed the colors of the keys. I feel there's so much potential there. Maybe it can have different forms in the future. Instead of holding keys, it could hold Pokemon plush keychains, leather tags, beads. I don't know, but I feel there's a lot of possibilities there. Executor has a very lovely shiny, but I like to see this as a tree appearance change from summer to autumn. The leaves turn a beautiful burnt orange reminiscent of fall leaves. Even the body turns a bit darker, which kind of shows the transition to the withering stage that nature goes through from summer to autumn. It's a fun concept to think about, which is why I can appreciate this. Executor is a very cool shiny to me. Like with Pikachu shiny is pretty lackluster. My theory is that its original colors are so iconic, and with it being the mascot of Pokemon, it would make sense if the company did not want the shiny to overshadow its original. So I can appreciate that, but it's still going to the could be better tier. Shiny Furfrou is one of my ultimate favorites. I feel with dog Pokemon there's always a lot to play with, but I'm glad that they went with this simple color choice because it works so well. It makes sense, and who doesn't like a good black shiny? Furfrou also deserves bonus points because the way the shiny translates to its different forms. My goodness. Honestly, they're all out of this world. They all look so good. My favorite has always been the Dandy Shiny because of how the green and black work together. But even as is, it's a gorgeous shiny. I remember I tried so hard to get a shiny Furfrou via PokeRadar, but I gave up because I didn't have the patience to do it. I kept breaking the chain. So when I got this from an online trade, I was really stoked and immediately placed it on my team so I can play through the game and battle online with it. Shiny Furfrou is a gold star to me. Shiny Slowbro has one of the most unique color combos I've ever seen. First off, I enjoy the dramatic change it has from the pink and grey to purple and gold. Very royal colors, and while you don't see this combo very often, it works so well and is very easy on the eyes, so it's going to the very cool tier. I've always liked Donphan's shiny color, but I still feel like Donphan's shiny is kinda underappreciated. I've heard some people say it's boring or ugly, but I like that it fits with its ground typing with it being brownish copper. With Donphan being the roly-poly that it is, it's like as if it's been rolling around in mud all day. And yeah, it's a suitable shiny color choice. I dig this. Staraptor's shiny is pretty unique. While I'm not the biggest fan of the brownish red they chose for its body, it does make the blue tint on its hair stand out quite a bit. Other than that, there's really not much to it, but it's still a good shiny. Ooh, this is a really hard one for me. Shiny Kecleon was one of my favorites in the previous gens, simply because its tongue turns blue in its shiny form, and I like the blue streak on its belly as well. Does anyone remember the episode in the anime where there was a purple Kecleon? I was so enthralled by it and really wanted a shiny in-game Kecleon because of it, until I learned its actual shiny isn't as striking, but still awesome nonetheless. However, the most sucky thing is that from the Gen 6 game onwards, Shiny Kecleon lost its blue tongue, and that drives me nuts. I don't know why they did that. Surely they must have forgotten about it because, in my opinion, that was what made Kecleon shiny so cool, like blue tongue skink cool. It's so frustrating. It's exactly that decision that makes Gen 6 shiny Kecleon lose its top tier rank, because it would have been gold star to me. Sadly, it now belongs to the it's okay tier because the blue streak is enough for it to be distinct. I actually quite like Ambipom shiny. It's so bold and striking, very distinct for me, and also fits the playful and tricky archetype of a monkey. I'm not a fan of magenta, fuchsia colors in general, but I can see where they're going with this and I really appreciate that. It's a good shiny. Okay, so hear me out. Shiny Lucario is definitely one you would turn your head around for. Same with Riolu. It's very striking, the gold makes it stand out. But honestly, I'm not a fan of the blue they chose for its chest. It makes Shiny Lucario look more subdued than it actually is. It doesn't blend very well, unlike Riolu, where it is mostly gold with just its ears and appendages being bluish. So that still worked for me. Mega Lucario is unfortunately no better for me. I'm not a fan of the olive gold against the blue, black, red, and yellow. They clash with one another, which makes this Mega Shiny look really messy. It certainly doesn't stand out as much as its original shiny. Sorry if that is another hot take, but we're here to rank its normal shiny and it is still good overall. Now, Crocodile's shiny is a vast improvement from Totodile's. You can clearly see the awesome blue plates, and having that color go together with its teal body makes this a really nice looking shiny. I think without the blue plates, this shiny would have been mid-tier for me. But yeah, the blue and teal is a nice combo. Definitely one of my favorite shinies out there. Gold star for me. Shiny Medicham is so pretty. I absolutely love this shade of cornflower blue. It looks lovely against the white and pale yellow. Overall, it looks very clean and simple, yet it stands out to me as a distinct shiny and one that I'm super happy to have in my collection. Mega Medicham is also so nice to look at. I love how the blue beads look against its blue shiny. I love the darker shade of yellows as well as the pale yellow it has on its body and floating arms. It's a very cool shiny. I love Shiny Medicham. Shiny Tangrowth looks really nice. Obviously the green matches its grass typing, and so I can appreciate the rationale there, but other than that, there's really not much going on with Shiny Tangrowth, so it's simply a good shiny to me. Gliscor has a very sick shiny. The color combo is very unique, but works really well together. I like the soft pastels of the blue and yellow against the black wings. I'd say it's thanks to the black wings that make the shiny colors stand out so much. I kinda wish it retained the saturated blue from the previous games. I feel that would make it stand out even more in 3D, but nonetheless, this is a great shiny. Shiny Gardevoir is so lovely. I like the blue that replaces the green on its original form. It's a very nice color choice. The soft blue is so fitting to its elegant design. Fun fact, I actually have a Shiny Gardevoir figure which I got off of Facebook Marketplace years ago. I like that Shiny Gardevoir has gotten its own merch because yeah, it's a shiny that's generally appreciated. Of course, its Shiny Mega Evolution is also great. I love that the dress turns black, giving it an extra classy look. It's a gorgeous shiny that I think very much deserves a height, so it's going to the very cool tier. My sentiments towards Spupa would mirror Scatterbugs. I do like that the confetti patterns on its body kinda got mixed around in its shiny version, but other than that and the inverted colors, there's really not much to it, so it's just a good shiny to me. I think it goes without saying that Starmie is also gold star quality to me, just like Staryu. I love the deep blue they used for its body and jewel to match. Very reminiscent of Sapphire. While it's different to shiny Staryu, this still fits so gosh darn well. I really like shiny Starmie and have so much appreciation for it. Shiny Victreebel is very cool. It fits its grass typing. I like that the leaves turn brown and its body turns into a light shade of green. I especially love the blue on the rims of its mouth. Overall, Shiny Victreebel kinda reminds me of a withering plant during wintertime. It's kinda grim to think about, but Shiny Victreebel looks pretty sweet. Gengar has to be one of the most disappointing shinies. For a well-loved Pokemon, you would expect its shiny to be more wow-worthy than what it actually is. At least it redeems itself when it Mega Evolves. The white on the Mega Evolution is so slick and fitting to its ghost type and design, but on its own, very lackluster and not noticeable at all. That's the saddest part for me. It's so hard to distinguish between its normal and shiny variant. If I were to encounter a shiny Gengar in the wild and I wasn't paying attention, I would easily miss and fail the shiny. Remoraid has a nice shiny. Seeing as it's based off of a Remora, I did a bit of research and found out there are purple Remoras out there. As you know, I do love when Pokemon base their designs off of real life, and so this is awesome, and purple Remoraid is going to the very cool tier. If you know me, Druddigon is one of my favorite Pokemon ever. The shiny is no exception. It is one of my absolute favorite top tier shinies. So much so that I have two shiny Drauddigons, one in this game and another in my Pokemon White 2 file. The reason I named her Truly is because she reminds me of Rock Candy, and I think back when I found her in the Friend Safari, I was obsessed with Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and Truly was one of the main characters, and there was a scene where the kids were singing a song called Truly Scrumptious. I've always thought Shiny Druddigon looks delicious, so I chose that name for it. But I digress. The color change in the shiny is so dramatic. I love orange and green color combos. I mean, it's the color of my favorite vegetable of all time, so how can I not? Also, a Shiny Druddigon made an appearance in the anime as Claire's Druddigon. That was when I fell smitten to the shiny. It's just such a striking shiny. Top tier gold star shiny. Clauncher is also one of my all-time favorite shinies. Clauncher was my first ever shiny Pokemon caught via the chain fishing method, so I guess I'm a little biased. But I mean, the shiny is just so striking and bold. It's so pretty to look at. I love the coral with the blue and white. They blend together so well. Yeah, this is a magnificent shiny. Shiny Ponyard has very sleek color combos. The lightning blue goes nicely with the black and white metallic parts of its body. The darker blue fits its dark typing, and yeah, like with Noibat, it's hard to not like blue and black combos. They're almost always done well to me. Ponyard is a very cool shiny. My sentiments with Shiny Tangela would be the same as Tangrowth, since nothing too major changes, apart from the vines on its body. Still though, I love the shade of green. Shiny Tangela is a good shiny. Shiny Venomoth is so pretty. I've always wanted to own a Shiny Venomoth in one of my older games. I love the cornflower blue. It's not too dramatic to its original variant in that it still stays within its light color palette. This works so well on Venomoth. Such an elegant shiny. Definitely a gold star shiny to me. Shiny Luffdusk is so sweet. I mean, it's a heart-shaped Pokemon. It's like the perfect mascot for Valentine's Day if you ask me. It's heart gold. Yeah, when I see Shiny Luffdusk, it reminds me of a gold heart necklace. It fits its design so well, and yeah, I can see the vision they're going with. I think they really nailed this. Very cool shiny to me. Shiny Muck is so sick. It's probably one of the best colors Pokemon can give to Shiny Muck. The toxic green is so fitting to its poison type as a moving biohazard. Yeah, I love this green sludge monster. It's a very cool shiny for sure. Oh, Dragonair shiny is so beautifully fitting to its elegant design. The pink against the white and gold makes this such a pretty shiny. It's hard to not like this shiny, and while I'm not the biggest fan of the color pink, Shiny Dragonair is so nice to look at. So very cool, in fact, that it made an appearance in the anime, and that makes me appreciate it even more. Show-stopping shiny, very distinct, and I love this a lot. Shiny Lairon is interesting. It looks so much cooler in the older gens because of how saturated the teal and red are, but with its 3D model, the colors look paler and unfortunately does not make it stand out like it used to anymore. It's kinda disappointing to me, which is why it's just okay to me. Obviously, because Clauncher is one of my favorite shinies, it goes without saying that Clawitzer is too. I'm glad it sticks with its pre-evolution's shiny to keep it consistent because it's already so nicely done, so why change it, right? I feel so happy whenever I see this shiny. Shiny Onyx is nice enough for me. It's simple and it fits its design. It's hard to go wrong with rock type shinies. I can see their justification in choosing this color because I've seen rocks with these colors before, and it's super distinguishable as well, so yeah, no complaints on Shiny Onyx. It's a good shiny. Oof, okay, that was a lot. All 102 shinies in my collection ranked. What do you guys think? I'm keen to hear your opinions as well because I love gushing about shiny Pokemon. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for your kind support. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, and I'll see you next time.